video. This is Lady Bootleg. I'm going to react to some of her videos. This video is about Patrick Mahomes. She said, has anybody ever heard this man say he was black? Well, he had an article come out in the first Super Bowl against, Eagles and the Chiefs 2 years ago in the GQ magazine. He said he was full black. So that answers your question. But I guess he's trying to disapprove that, but who cares?
Team just lost the Super Bowl to Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, Patrick Mahomes is biracial. Here is a picture of his parents. A white mother, a black father. His father was a professional baseball player, and according to him, he was raised in an all-white suburb of some town in Texas. So clearly, nobody's thought that it was important for him to be connected to the Black American community. Now, what I'm saying is, he seems like a nice guy, and his brother Jackson is just a hoot. But what I want to know is, has anybody ever heard this young man say he was black? And the reason I'm saying that is because every time he ends up in the Super Bowl, and this is his third or fourth showing, black men will be running around talking about a black quarterback, a black quarterback, black quarterback in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and that just goes to prove to you that y'all claim light-skinned dudes and mixed dudes when it's convenient for you. First off, y'all want to use light-skinned dudes when they accomplish something, and y'all take all their credit in their history and y'all blackwash it. And then when it's time to go against a dark-skinned dude or Kendrick Lamar at the halftime, you talking about how light-skinned dudes took a L. So which one is it? All right, that basically, that's pretty much what I've been saying the whole time, that y'all are grifters. All right, no disrespect, but pretty much just told on yourself.
Well, has anybody ever heard him say he was black? Now, I believe that in today's modern age, that biracials should be able to identify how they want to. Now, we know in the past, during the slavery days, all the way up to the civil rights movement, we know that the one-drop rule was the deciding factor as to whether or not you were black. If you had one drop of black blood and nobody knows how, they were gonna.
Yes, the one drop rule they say it was meant to keep mulatto people out of whiteness, but that's not what it was. It's about disinheriting the mulattoes and outcasting them out of society, which is what you got them now, which they're confused and they don't have an identity, which is the whole purpose of the one drop rule. All right, I just read a book that I talked about before a little bit about how when that first happened, and it was a mulatto or mulatto's female and a black guy, they got into it about a little over half a century ago when they forced mulatto people with black people, meaning dark-skinned Negroes with light-skinned Negroes. She basically cussed them out. And everybody had an issue with it. And she said, since I'm a black person now, I might as well start acting like a nigga. She said something like that. So it was a lot of friction back then, even when they tried to force that one drop rule and try to intermix the two groups, and how the mulattoes and the black people were fighting each other. Or I think the black guy ended up pushing the mulatto girl, or something like that I read. But yeah, when you promote the one drop rule, you're oppressing light-skinned people, especially mixed people. All right.
Measure that one drop. But if you had any noticeable African ancestry, you were black. That's how it was.
Which is not even a real thing, because the term black wasn't even a thing back then. They went by colored after the one drop rule and stuff. They went by the term colored. So that's not true. All right, black wasn't a thing to Dr. King around that time period in the 60s.
Now, for the first few hundred years that we've been in America, biracials were the product of black women and white men. And
that's a huge lie that black Americans keep telling and Caucasian people keep telling, Caucasian males specifically, one, because Caucasian males want to make light-skinned men their sons. They want to make it seem like they're the alpha males and how they conquered black women and all this other stuff and beat on their chest. It's an ego boost for them. Same with dark skinned men. They want to act like they're the original, but where is that in the Bible? Like, where is that in history? All right, you had mulattoes here in the it was already in America before the colonizers even came. You had mulatto people in Europe during the Middle Ages. You had mulattoes back in ancient Rome, all that stuff. So that's a false narrative. They just make up lies about light skinned Negroes, and they put it through the mainstream media, and people just regurgitate bullshit. So you're basically oppressing, like, and this group of people are really oppressing light skinned people and mixed people off of false narratives that they have concocted. And a lot of these narratives just come from dark skinned black men's imaginations, and a lot of them just come from white men just making up bullshit and putting it throughout the media.
During the slavery days, those women didn't have any control over their bodies and their children.
And they didn't even rape. First and foremost, I'm not trying to humiliate. I'm not gonna say that, but they never. That's a false narrative. Black women, the vast majority of people of color here in America weren't even slaves. Or you had some who were, like you had mulatto slaves, you had everything, but they were not raping dark-skinned black women. They were doing that to light-skinned mulatto women. All right, she was the woman that everybody wanted to, who yearned after. Just like now, light-skinned women are extremely fetishized by your group of men and by white men and all type of stuff. And they purposely do that to keep the not only because they look the way they look, but also they want to keep the mulatto. They want to keep her away from the mulatto male. All right, because they fear that union, that unity. All right, but they were not doing that to black women like that. They didn't desire black women back in the days. Now, no disrespect. All right, at least white men. All right, the Caucasian female was very insecure about the mulatto's female. All right, back in the day. That's another topic for another day. And on top of that, light-skinned women back in the day were worth a lot of money. I mean, a lot. They ain't got no value now like that because they dealing with everybody, but especially the type of men they dealing with now. But back in the day, they were worth a lot of money. I mean, a lot. All right.
The same status as their mothers, enslaved individuals. So calling Booker T. Washington and Frederick Douglass and those people that were born during slavery biracial is really a moot point. It really is, because they didn't even know who their fathers were. So they were considered black because their mothers were black. Those white men...
That's not how that works, but they were mulattoes. All right? They were mulattoes, not black. Don't let these people trick y'all into blackness. Especially you light-skinned dudes. Y'all have no benefit in the black community. All right, they want to use you as a pawn and a puppet and make you an outcast. All right, you brothers notice I say it all the time on here. And you did have a couple black women who were raped, but it wasn't like what they're trying to make it out to be.
Didn't take any ownership over those children. They were just children of the plantation. So if they were mixed, they were black. Their mothers were black, they were black.
No, they weren't. They were mulatto. But what they do that for is because they want to confuse mixed people and light-skinned people. All right? That's why they go by the term black. You should never go by the term black because, like I said, you look at America, you're automatically going to feel inadequate, and they're going to make fun of you for not being black enough. That's what they do to light-skinned people now. All right? That's why dark-skinned men, they take advantage of light-skinned women's insecurities on not being black enough. And same thing with light-skinned men. They literally talk about how you're not dark-skinned and you ain't this, that, and the third because they want you to feel inadequate. All right? Like you're not enough. So when you call yourself black, that's always going to be what that is. You're always going to have to live up to their standard. People of a darker brown complexion.
But in this modern age, black people are choosing to have children with white people. And these children sometimes have no connection to blackness because very often the father leaves, and in this case, the parents divorced, and so the mother is left to raise the child, and she has the greatest influence. Now, in his case, Patrick Mahomes is married to a white woman, and their children are white, as you can see here.
Those are not races. Those are colors. Like your phenotype is not your race. Your phenotype falls under ethnicity. It's what you physically look like. Your race is your nationality. All right. But yes, they are Caucasian looking. All right.
So it is possible that he does not want to be identified as black. And I'm saying, I believe.
Who gives a shit? I wonder if he would have got with a biracial female, would he be still considered black?
If he should have that choice. There are biracials who say they are black identified biracial. They have chosen to identify as black. I don't have a problem with that. I think that's the best way to do it.
Hell no. They trying to do not take advice from black people. You light skinned people and you mixed race people, especially you guys, do not take advice from black people about your identity or anything down there. Like, they have to be vetted. Oh, you got a lot of black people out here who have good intentions, but the vast majority of them don't. All right, I was just running that Kwame Brown stuff back and how he talked about how they do light skinned people dirty. All right, and they are on code with that. Not all of them. A lot of them are on code with that. And basically means to do somebody dirty means what? It's to dog them out, to give them misleading advice on purpose, to give them misleading advice. All right. And they laugh behind y'all backs where y'all not looking, talking about how slow y'all are and how confused you guys are. And give y'all nicknames, all type of stuff like tortured mulatto. I didn't make that term up. I actually heard it from these people. All right. What does tortured mean? It means to inflict serve pain on somebody. All right. So they're inflicting serve pain on you guys to get you guys to act a certain way or to think a certain way.
If they have a black parent and they decide that they can fit into the black American culture better than they can in the white American culture, then I don't have a problem.
What about the mulatto American culture? All right, that y'all done stole the vast majority of it. Really all of it. And white people. What about that culture that y'all hiding? All right, but do not, especially you light-skinned dudes, light-skinned women as well, y'all have no benefit in black America. Like none. You get to get your thrill right now, yeah, but once you hit about 26, 27, that is over with, man. And you light-skinned dudes really shouldn't want to be called black.
With them calling themselves black, although some people say you're not black. But I think that if they say they are black identified biracial, and they want, and that's how they feel the most comfortable, I don't have a problem with that. I do have a problem with black people trying to force this on biracial children.
Absolutely. And shout out to her for that. All right. I'm against the term biracial because it's not direct. They're not against biracial people. They're against mulatto people, the black and white mix specifically, or the black and whatever, but especially the black and white mix and the light-skinned Negro mix, phenotype. That's who they're against. All right, so I'm against the term biracial because it's not specific. And on top of that, they're not against all biracial people. It's only one specific group that they are against, and one specific phenotype that they're against.
If you are biracial and you marry a white person and you have children with that person and those children look white, why are black people trying to drag you into the black race against your will? And I believe that they should give this young man some freedom and some grace to be who he wants to be.
Absolutely. Shout out to Lady Boulay for that. Shout out to Lady Boulay. Especially in a community where y'all don't have no respect for mixed race men and light skinned dudes. In a community where y'all publicly humiliate them for social status. Where y'all treat them like they're the last option. Y'all treat them like they're not black enough. Yeah. So shout out to Lady Boulay for having some integrity. All right. Don't try to use mixed men and light skinned dudes when it's convenient for you for emergency dick just because you can't tame your dark skinned degenerate son.
Just might want to be a biracial. So that's how come I'm asking, has anybody ever heard him say he was black? Because if he doesn't say he's black, then I don't think it's right for other people to be running around here calling him black, especially when he has non-black children. Now let's cut to
So if he has black children, if he had a black wife, a dark skin, and the brother in the comments section left that. He talked about that was a good comment that he left. He called it very specific, something about how if light skinned dudes marry dark skinned women, see they always trying to marginalize light skinned men to degenerate dark skinned women. And I want to make a video about light skinned women and how not all, but a lot of them they purposely try to do that. That's another video for another day on why they get on TikTok and do what they do towards light skinned dudes.
the chase. We know that there is a stigma attached to being black all over the world, but definitely in America. Now, I am proud of the way we black Americans handle our blackness. We know that it is a problem in America, but most of us stand on our black business. We are unapologetically black. But
No, that's bullshit. Y'all are unapologetically not black. All right, y'all act pro-black, but y'all do the complete opposite. All right, y'all been doing this tactic for hundreds of years here in America. All right, being loud and obnoxious, acting pro-black and not really being pro-black, just trying to scam confuse people within the community, but really doing the complete opposite. All right, the only people who take being pro-black serious is these confused light-skinned people. That's it. All right, light-skinned dudes and light-skinned girls who want to prove themselves. Dark-skinned people do not take blackness seriously. They jump in and out of blackness whenever they want. That's why you got dudes like Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick Lamar is a prime example of jumping in and out of blackness. How you pro-black, so pro-black, and you pro-dark-skin. You got a song called Black of the Berry, basically saying that the darker you are, the superior you are, but you won't lay down with a woman your complexion is darker, and you get with a mixed breed or pretty much a mulatto's female. Now, she is a mulatto's female, not a black one. And then you make fun of Drake for not being not like you. And then you turn around and cheat on your mulatto's female with white women. But you're acting like you're so pro-black, but you're investing your money, your resources to a non-dark dark-skinned community. All right? That's a prime example of jumping in and out of blackness. All right?
there are those who are not. And they still see it as being a stigma. And I'm saying, if you don't want to be black, I think you ought to have the freedom to go out there and be white or mixed or biracial or whatever you want to be. But I do wish that these black men, and it's mostly black men, although I'm sure some black women do.
Yeah, because they try to use light-skinned dudes when it's convenient for you, and they want access to light-skinned women. That's all it's about. All right, black men ain't worried about fixing their community. They worried about having sex with somebody, male or female. Not all you brothers, but it's a lot of y'all. All right.
Too, but I do wish they would stop doing that with Patrick Mahomes and other biracial men and women who are married to people of different races and whose children don't necessarily look black or identify as black. People should be given the freedom.
Look at this picture. Most of these black bras, ain't even thinking about Patrick Mahomes. Are they just getting desperate now? But
To identify as they wish when they are of mixed ethnicities. Now, that's how I feel about it. Y'all let me know how you feel about this. I need him to say he's black, or I need to hear somebody say that they've heard him say he was black, because it's not fair if you're trying to shove that down his throat when he has a white mother and a white wife and some white children. All right, y'all.
absolutely. And he shouldn't be shamed for that. I'll see you on the next one. Shout out to Lady Boulay. Even I don't agree with all her content. I'll see you on the next one.